Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is September 19th, 2022. Just got back from suspension. They suspended me for a week for the videos that I streamed at the World Trade Center on September 11th. And it looks like here they took down all the videos that I did. So, that's unfortunate. But the good news is that the photographer that I had record the event, he has all the footage from that day. So we still have those footages. He's almost done with the video. And let me show you guys a little preview of the video. He sent me this. So once he's done, I'm going to upload this to my channel. I told him to remove all the coronavirus stuff because, YouTube doesn't like us talking about that. So it's looking pretty good. He still has to, tweak a little more the parts that talk about the C word. It's unfortunate because the censorship is just not gonna stop. What I'm gonna do is if I get another strike, I'm gonna make another channel and I'll let you guys know where to find me. Yeah, see. It's looking really good. It's looking like a mini film, That's what I really wanted. I wanted to capture this moment. So I think that was the right guy for that. So once that's done, I'm going to let you guys know on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, a lot of people asking me the code stuff. I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff on Instagram. That's why, I will always tell people to follow me there. So you see this Simple Truth Television is the handle. I've been posting videos here, decodes of all the stuff that's been happening. The hurricane in Puerto Rico, which took place yesterday on a day leaving 104 days left in the year. They said it started at 3:20 p.m. Those are the numbers that connect to the Roman Catholic Church. A lot of the stuff. Also, the photographs of the event are on my blog, simpletruth.television.blogspot.com. If you want to see those photographs. You have Daria, Daria was there. Very nice woman. I have here all the names of the people who donated. These names are also going to be in the video. So thank you to all the people who helped out to pay the bill for the photographer. Absolutely, man. Without you guys, it wouldn't even be possible. And yeah, so I've been posting a lot of stuff here. My P&B Rock video when he died, the rapper from Philly, I had this on my Instagram, so a lot of people got to see it. A lot of people asking me to decode his death, and you see, I've been making blog posts about his death since he died. I wasn't able to stream because of the suspension. The suspension just ended today. I still have a strike until December 11th. So if I do get another strike, I won't be able to post on this channel for 2 weeks. So follow me on Instagram, Simple Truth Television, Simple Truth Television, and my blog is simpletruth.television.blogspot.com. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks everybody for joining me. Now, something that if you guys saw any of the live streams that I did at the World Trade Center, this is one of the things that I spoke about in my speech. It was the connection with Jay-Z, the Notorious B.I.G, and September 11th. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, so I want to get right to it. I don't want to make this video too long. So, okay. So, I don't know if this is true, but if you look up the rappers from that era, from the 90s to the early 2000s, actually from the 90s, just the rappers from the 90s, Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z, I guess, well, all the way up to 2001 when the towers dropped. So all the mainstream rappers before 9/11 2001, I wasn't able to find any other rapper who has taken photographs in front of the Twin Towers. And I mean like big names, like the Busta Rhymes, the DMXs, the Snoop Dogg's, the Tupacs. The only two rappers that I've noticed that have photographs in front of the towers are Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z. And I think there's a reason for that. I think Biggie Smalls' career and Jay-Z's career has been linked to 9/11, especially Biggie Smalls, who died before 9/11. Look at all these photographs. Look, and we know how much predictive programming they did leading up to 9/11, right? So, I mean, he was even in the cover of The Source, and they had the towers right here. You know, Jay-Z taking photographs in front of the towers. Of course, his album, The Blueprint, came out the day that the towers came down. We're going to talk about that. But you see, they have a lot of photographs in front of the towers. And no other rappers have this many photographs in front of the towers. I haven't been able to find any. I don't even think I've found one. Like let's see, rappers from that era: L. Cool J, Jam Master Jay, Snoop Dogg, DMX, Nas, even the New York rappers. I haven't seen any of them. But Jay-Z and Biggie, I was able to find a lot, more than one. And if you saw the speech that I did, if you heard the speech, I was talking about Jay-Z and his Blueprint album, which came out the day that the towers came down, September 11th, 2001. And I found that very interesting because Jay-Z, as you guys may know, he was the CEO of Rockefeller Records. And his album came down. His album dropped the same day that the Twin Towers dropped, who were named after the Rockefeller brothers, David Rockefeller and Nelson Rockefeller, right? And you guys should already know about the number 68 and how it connects to the towers, because the construction began in 1968. That was the same year that 911 was made the emergency dialing code. Same year that George Bush graduated from Yale University. And, of course, Nelson Rockefeller, he was the governor of New York back in 1968 when he signed the legislation. He was the one that signed the legislation bill to allow the construction to begin in New York City. And, of course, his brother, David, he was the one that brought the idea to the forefront, right? So we know how big 68 was. And, of course, we spoke about how the name Sean Carter equals 68. So it made sense for him to put out his album on this day, right? The CEO of Rockefeller Records puts out his album the day the Rockefeller buildings come down. And, of course, they named it The Blueprint. The Blueprint, think about a blueprint, it has a lot to do with construction, buildings. Of course, blueprint also has other definitions. It also means plan, right? So think about it. In 1968, there was a blueprint because that's the year that construction began. And the day that the Twin Towers came down, there was also a blueprint, Jay-Z's album. So his name is 68. And then, a couple of, actually, in my speech, I said 13 days later. I was wrong about that. It was actually 3 days after his album came out on September 14th. He put out a freestyle called 911. And, of course, he reminded people how his album came out the same day the towers came down. But you know who else dropped an album that day? And I didn't know about this until recently. The rapper Fabulous. He put out the same album that same day. And what Fabulous, Jay-Z, and Biggie have in common is that they're all from Brooklyn, which I found very strange. But Fabulous, he's a very popular rapper as well. If you're from New York City, you probably heard of him. He put out his album, his debut album, matter of fact. This was his first album, Ghetto Fabulous, exactly 68 days before his birthday, which is, makes sense, right? It's fitting. Notice he was born November 18th, right? And 9/11 is 68 days before his birthday. And the name of the album is Ghetto Fabulous. He spells fabulous with an O instead of with a U, like how he spells his name with an O. And I think this is why, because Ghetto Fabulous equals 68. Like Sean Carter, like our construction from the Twin Towers began in 1968. Of course, the word terror is 68. CIA is 68. But going back to Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z, remember Jay-Z became the biggest rapper in New York after Biggie Smalls died. Biggie Smalls was literally the biggest rapper in New York City. And then he died on March 9th, 1997. March 9th, of course, is the 68th day of the year, right? And his debut single was Juicy, which equals 68. And in the music video, Juicy, if you guys remember this scene right here, he was in front of the prison cell. Notice this prison cell doesn't have a number, but his prison cell, I'm assuming this is his prison cell because it's open. His prison cell was, you see the number 68 right on the top. Again, the name of the song equals 68, Juicy. He died on the 68th day of the year. And in that song, remember what he said? He said it's time to get paid. It's time to get paid and blow up like the World Trade. A lot of people assume that he was referring to the 1993 bombing, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're assuming, because Biggie was not alive in 2001 to confirm that in the first place. And of course, you know, if you're saying that, it's because you don't understand gematria or even know about it. Again, the number 68 was huge with the World Trade Center, right? The construction began in 1968. 911 was made the emergency dialing code in 1968 as well, right? So how fitting for them for his debut single, Juicy, to equal 68. For them to have the number 68 in the video. Here it is, 68. He died on March 9th, the 68th day of the year. That number has everything to do with the Twin Towers of that came down on September 11th. Because remember, it came down 68 days after George Bush's birthday, right? George Bush graduated from Yale University in 1968. And then the two rappers that put out their albums on that day, Jay-Z and Fabulous, they both have a 68 connection. Because Fabulous put out his album 68 days before his birthday, and Jay-Z's name, Sean Carter, equals 68. And again, these are the two rappers, Biggie and Jay-Z, who have multiple photographs in front of the towers. Okay? So when you're assuming that he's talking about 93, I mean, you don't have any evidence of that, because Biggie was not alive to confirm that. And of course, he died on March 9th, a day that's written 3-9, like 39. Of course, Biggie's 39, New York is 39, NY is 39, NYC. You know, a lot of other things. New York, the way you write it on the envelope, that also equals 39. He also died in the year 97, and that number has a lot to do with John Rockefeller, the grandfather of David and Nelson. Because remember if you guys are familiar with John Rockefeller, he was the founder of Standard Oil. And just think about after the Twin Towers came down, George Bush invaded Iraq and stole all the oil, right? So that's what I think it was. I think the Twin Towers coming down was a big money move, a big business move for the oil companies. And then they had the perfect script written out. I mean, John Rockefeller, this billionaire who was the founder of Standard Oil, his grandsons, they have this idea of building the Twin Towers, and then of course his other grandson Nelson was the governor to make sure that the construction begins. And then they have these celebrities who people worship put the truth out there, so just to mock. And that's what they was doing that all before 9/11. They was doing that with everything, in the movies, in the music. They kept putting out the predictive program and letting people know that this event was gonna happen. I don't really use this cipher that much, the keypad cipher, but it's funny how Notorious B.I.G. is 68 in that cipher. I found that interesting. Keypad cipher is simply if you look on your phone, see how the numbers have letters, right? I think the number 2 is A, B, C, 3 is D, E, F, and so on. You write out Notorious B.I.G. on your phone, add up the values, they equal 68. Zenith of the Alpha talks about this cipher a lot. And I don't think this is a coincidence, because this is the number that is very connected to 9/11 and the Notorious B.I.G. And just think about it. Wasn't the Twin Towers notorious for being big? Think about that, right? The mockery with that. I mean, he also went by Biggie Smalls, right? Big, small, demolition. I don't think none of that stuff is a coincidence. And don't forget, and this is more proof that Juicy had nothing to do with the 93 bombing, because it wasn't until 2001 when they finally decided to censor the song Juicy for those lyrics. Because think about it. In 93, I believe it was something like an estimate of 10 people who passed away from that tragedy. And think about it. If he was talking about the 93 bombing, wouldn't they censor it the minute that song came out? Why wait till 2001, way after the song came out? The song came out in 94. Why wait 7 years to censor that record when something already happened that was related to those lyrics? Because there was supposed to be a bombing in 93, right? Where I think 7 or 8 people died. Especially, and if you read the reporting, they said that a pregnant woman also passed away in that at that bombing. So that's a touchy subject. So when Juicy came out, they should have automatically censored those lyrics if in fact it was associated with the 93 bombing. And again, it wasn't. That's why it never got censored. That's why they waited until 9/11, 2001 to go back to that song and censor it. And of course, the Billboard puts out these articles just to, confirm what we already think, right? The Notorious B.I.G. and 9/11, radio censorship, Illuminati conspiracy theories, and everything in between. Yeah, there is a conspiracy theory. Well, not a conspiracy theory, but it's definitely an Illuminati conspiracy. And yes, there was censorship. Why? Well, because it's connected. No doubt about it. Juicy equals 68. Come on. Of course, the 68 is a huge number, right? Catholicism, mathematics, the word terror, CIA. Even names like Barack Obama equals 68. Names like Donald John Trump also has a 68. And think about it. I think Donald Trump said that he saw the first plane hit the tower out of his hotel room. I think he said. I could be mistaken, but I think that's what he said in one of his interviews. He said he was looking out of his hotel room when the first plane hit the tower. And just to show you guys that Biggie did this more than once, right? And I know a lot of people. I was debating this with people, but people saying that that Juicy and this other song Warning is not connected. But just think about this. Oh, let me just finish off with Juicy though. Look, if you notice up here, Juicy came out on August 9th, 1994, and from the release of this song to the attacks of 9/11, it was exactly 370 weeks. And that number connects to John Rockefeller because he was born John Davidson Rockefeller Sr. and his name is 370. And that song came out 370 weeks before the attacks. And I don't think that's a coincidence because, again, John Rockefeller Sr., the grandfather of David and Nelson, he was the founder of Standard Oil. Oil, Juicy, It's making a lot more sense. But look at this, right? You guys, if you're from that era, you should remember this song, Warning. I think every Biggie Smalls fan should know this song. This is the song where, Puff Daddy calls him on the phone. And he warns them about an intricate plot, right? If you guys remember the opening lyrics of this song, look it up here. It says, "Who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? Crack of dawning, now I'm yawning. Wipe the coal out of my eye. See who's this paging me and why. It's my nigga Pop from the barbershop. Told me he was in the gambling spot and heard the intricate plot." Right? Let's stop right there. The first line, he says, it's 5:46 in the morning. Now, people was debating with me about this, saying that, it's not connected to September 11th. But think about it. They said that the first plane hit the tower at 8:46, right? So not quite 5:46. But I'm just thinking like, okay, it wasn't 5:46 in New York, but it was 5:46 in California. So technically you could say that the first plane hit the tower at 5:46, depending on where you're at in the United States, right? Because the people down there in the West Coast, it was 5:46 for them. And that's where Biggie Smalls died. And the name of the song is Warning. Warning. And this is the same guy that had the song Juicy, where he says he wants to blow up like the World Trade. And you think about the lyrics in this song. He says, now they heard you're blowing up like nitro. And they want to stick a knife through your windpipe slow. Blowing up like nitro. Like he keeps using these terms, blowing up, warning, World Trade, 5:46. I don't think none of this stuff is a coincidence. And that's how sick this stuff is, right? Because if I'm right about this, that means in 1994. And funny, it came out September 13th, two days before 9/11, but same day. That was the day that his Ready to Die album came out. Think about it. It came out 2 years before the death of Tupac Shakur. But if I'm right about this, and then these songs are connected to September 11th, you know what that means? It means that not only do these people know about these events way in advance, but they also know the exact time. Well, it makes sense. Why wouldn't they know the exact time? Why would they know half of the script, right? But it's just sick, though, man. It's sick that these people know that these events are going to happen and they put it in the songs and people are out here dancing to it, singing along. Who the fuck is this? Paging me at 546. I'm pretty sure every time that song comes on, people are singing along to the lyrics and not really catching on to the real meaning of that record. Warning. And just look, if you look at the video, they have the big warning letters across the screen, right? Beep, 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 beep. Because I find it strange. He says 5:46. That's just a very specific time. Very specific time. Especially because, look at this. Look up let's see, what time did the first plane hit the Twin Towers? It's gonna say 8:46 because that's the time it was in New York. Same thing they said with George Floyd. Remember they said the officer kneeled on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and then Dave Chappelle came out with the 8:46 special. Look at this. This is how they mock us, man. This like I'm saying in the beginning, they use these celebrities for this reason, to mock us. A lot of people are laughing at Dave Chappelle's 8:46 skit. Look at it, 8:46, Dave Chappelle. Right? George Floyd. 8:46. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. It's a symbol referencing police brutality that is associated with the murder of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020. Yeah, but that's also the time that it was when the plane hit the towers, right? But look at this, right? So in California, let me see, what time was it in California? So, as it was the case with Flight 11 hit the two buildings that look like 11 in the 11 states on the 11th day of the month. Just another coincidence, but let me see if I can find what time it was. Because, again, it's a 3-hour difference, right? So, let me see if there's any articles showing that it was a 5:46. Let me see. No, people calling me crazy because I'm making this connection, but I really think that's what it was. That song was about 9/11. Again, that rapper has multiple photographs in front of the Twin Towers. He even made Source magazine cover in front of the towers. I mean, why? The name Notorious, Big. If you remember, that's what the Twin Towers were known for being big, right? Notorious for being big. Yeah, most of these articles are gonna say 8:46 because that was the time in New York, and I'm not even sure where that video was shot at. It was probably shot in California where he died, because I could be mistaken about that, but I do think that the fact that the Juicy song came out 370 weeks before the attacks, and John Rockefeller's full name is 370, that's definitely not an accident. Especially with all those 68s in his song. Of course, 2 towers became 0 and then became 1, right? I just feel like, it don't matter what you show people. Certain people are just gonna say that everything is a coincidence. I think that's the mindset that people have. Everything is coincidental. None of this stuff is being orchestrated. None of this stuff is being scripted. Because if it was, we'll be able to predict it. They always say that. Well, if it's scripted, why you can't predict it? You trying to tell me if you watch a movie, you're gonna be able to tell me the end? I mean, every movie is scripted. So if you're watching the movie from the beginning, you're not gonna know the end until the end. I mean, you can make an estimated guess. Doesn't mean you're gonna be right. I did see an article earlier that said, Yeah, most of these articles are gonna say 8:46 because it did happen at 8:46. But like I said, at California time, it is 5:46 down there. It all depends on where you was at. So. And then think about it. George Floyd, they got killed in the Twin City, Minnesota. His name is 119 as well. The name George Floyd, like the date 9/11. Oh, here it is. Look at this one. Because like I said, it all depends on where you're at, right? So U.S. marks the 21st year anniversary of 9/11. Of course. I wonder if Joe Biden was there at the World Trade Center. I think he was. Damn, I wish I would have bumped into him. Mr. 46. Well, just think about this, right? So this article, not sure where it's from, but this article was published at 5:46 in the morning, September 11th. There's a reason for that. That's the time that the first plane hit the tower. Yeah, so all these articles were published at 5:46, 5:46. Because again, that's the time in California when it's 8:46 here in New York, right? So Biggie's lyrics about 5:46 in the morning, nobody's gonna tell me otherwise. He was talking about 9/11, and the name of the song is Warning, so he's not that bad of a guy. Going back to Nelson Rockefeller, if you guys notice, he died 41 years before Kobe Bryant. On the nose, 41 years. Of course, the name Kobe Bryant is 41, like USA. And if you didn't know, the divisors of 68 equals 126, right? The days written 1/26. So I found that interesting that Nelson Rockefeller died exactly 41 years before Kobe. And Kobe was synced up with so many other things, right? But let me just show you guys all the things. Like I said, so 68 is a huge number. Catholicism, mathematics, terror, CIA. Of course, it says here that David and Nelson were not just the names of the two Rockefeller brothers. They were also the name of the Twin Towers. Something I spoke about at the World Trade Center, how the Twin Towers had nicknames. It says here that more accurately, there were the nicknames given to the towers. David because of David Rockefeller and as chairman of Downtown Lower Manhattan's Association. He originated the idea of building the towers, and Nelson, his brother, the governor of New York, he signed a legislation bill that made it possible. So this is all something that you can verify. This is according to the New York Times. So like going back to Jay-Z, think about it. The CEO of Rockefeller Records, his album drops the same day that the Rockefeller brothers drop. Just mockery. And again, he was the governor in 68, and Sean Carter 68. Same year, 911 was made the emergency dialing code, right? 911, a national emergency on 911. The construction for the World Trade Center began in August 1968. George Bush graduated from Yale University, class of 68. Of course, 68 days after his 2001 birthday, the Twin Towers came down. He was born July 6, 68 days later. Towers come down on September 11, 2001. Favorite word was terror, 68. Of course, the Jets won their only Super Bowl that year as well. So big year, right? Jets playing. So big year, 1968. So it's fitting how it's Fabulous' album come out 68 days before his birthday. The name of his album is 68. Jay-Z drops his album that day as well. His name is 68. But going back to 97, and remember, John Rockefeller, this is who I think it was that terrorist attack was a tribute to. I think one of the richest men in history, John Rockefeller, the founder of Standard Oil. He died at the age of 97. And think about it, Biggie Smalls died in the year 97. The name Notorious is 97. Names like Carter is 97. Rockefeller Records equals 97 as well. So how fitting for them to have Biggie and Jay-Z synced up with the Rockefeller buildings. And like I said, the song Juicy came out 370 weeks before the towers came down. So this is what I want you guys to get from this video. A lot of people criticize rappers and say that they only talk about gangster stuff and killing each other, which is true. But I think that the majority of these rappers are manipulated by the same people who manipulate the news, manipulate a lot of other things. The Jesuit order, the Catholic Church, they are the ones behind the creation of these rappers. Did these rappers really sell drugs? Did they really struggle? Maybe. But I don't think it's an accident that Biggie Smalls has these two records, Juicy and Warning. And in both records, you can assume, well, I don't want to use the word assume. I think you can confidently say that those two records are synced up with 9/11. I mean, he literally says, blow up like the World Trade in Juicy. And he did die on the 68th day of the year. And we do see the number 68 in that music video. The name of the song does equal 68. This is just the alphabetical order. Juicy equals 68. Warning. Puff Daddy is calling him from New York City to tell him about an intricate plot at 5:46 in the morning while the guy is sleeping. Everybody in California was probably sleeping when the first plane hit the tower because it was pretty early down there. Well, not just California, the whole West Coast, right? That's Central Time, West Coast time. None of this stuff is an accident to me. And again, like I said, the only two rappers that have multiple photographs in front of the towers are Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls. I haven't been able to find any other rappers. This guy took a whole photo shoot. There's like 30 pictures of him with this day right here. He took like 30 different photographs. So if you go on Google, you'll find 30 different poses of him on this day in front of those towers. And it's so obvious. They told him let's do a photo shoot at the front of the Twin Towers because your song Juicy is about to come out. And then after that, we're gonna shoot Warning. You're gonna warn people about 5:46 in the morning. Just not gonna tell them the day and year. Let them figure it out. Let them measure from Juicy to the Trade Center and decode John Rockefeller's name. Let them figure it out on their own. Notorious Big. Let's see if I mentioned everything. So this was one of the things I spoke about when I was down there at the World Trade Center on last Sunday. A lot of, I didn't have all this information in front of me, so I left a lot of it out because, it wasn't planned. I didn't even know I was going to talk that day. So, at least you guys understand really why Jay-Z and Fabulous put out their albums that day. It was by the numbers. Oh, speaking of Warning, in Gematria, look at this. Warning has that 41 and 40. Right, that's the name of the song, right? Warning, 41 and 40, right? Now look at this. USA is 41 and 40. Al Qaeda, who they blamed the attacks on, is 41 and 40. And of course, the Trade Center was bombed. They came down on the day with 41 numerology. I mean, you can't be too mad at these people. At least they try to tell us in their very sick, subliminal way. And you know what's funny? Puff Daddy, he played the character Pop from the barbershop. Look at the gematria of Pop from the barbershop. It equals 110, like how the Twin Towers was 110 stories tall. Of course, Osama bin Laden is 110. And there's also 97, right? Like Notorious, like Carter, Rockefeller Records, John Rockefeller dead at 97. It's my nigga Pop from the barbershop. A lot of people think this song was about a robbery. Yeah, right. You guys better wake up. You guys better wake up, man. These people are playing a sick game. So Jarvis said that Biggie Smalls' mother, her birthday is 6/8. Let me see. Biggie's mother. Whose mother? Yeah, it says here that her birthday is February 3rd. Yeah, people try to debate that with me, saying that Biggie had no idea that he was just being used as a puppet. Nah, I don't think so. I think he did know. These people are not dumb. These people are. You gotta understand. These people are trained from a young age to be who they are. Kirkland, that's a great point. Yep, that part where he says who shot you. That's a great point. You know the V word. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that's predictive programming as well for that. Yeah, 546 is 846 Eastern is 546 in the West. Yes. Yeah, oil, juicy, Standard Oil, John Rockefeller. Hello. Nah, they know, man. These people know, because you could look up the photographs of him doing the pyramid and all that stuff. I mean, that's not an accident. I mean, do not try to justify these people's affiliations. These people definitely know. I mean, just look at the pyramid in the video. Isn't this juicy? Look at the pyramid. You see the pyramid? The Illuminati, they put their symbolism everywhere. It goes over people's heads. You know what I'm saying? Because people are not paying attention. This is the scene from Juicy. I mean, that's obviously a pyramid right there. I mean, look at this photograph of him doing the pyramid with his hands. I mean, that's all symbolism right there. And then what's funny? He always dressed up as a mafia boss. And just think about it. The Illuminati, the Jesuit Order, are the mafia. These people are the mafia, with his Jesus piece. Black and white, symbolism, right? Masonry. I mean, that is possible. If you want to defend them, say that, they probably told him to pose this way and he had no idea. If you guys want to be his lawyer, that's fine. But like I said, I don't think none of this stuff is an accident. Even if they don't know that, not knowing is not a reason. It's not an excuse. You can't tell a judge, I was in a car with a killer, but I didn't know he was a killer. No, you're going down as well. You're getting arrested as well. If you're in a car with somebody who just committed a crime, you're as guilty. The police are not gonna ask you whether you knew or not. I mean, isn't that what people usually say in court? I didn't know. I had no idea. Not knowing is not an excuse. You can't use that as a defense in court. So if he's partaking in these criminal activities, knowing about a crime makes you look at this. Knowing about a crime and not saying anything makes you an accomplice. I mean, that's literally a law. If I know somebody's gonna commit a crime and I don't say anything to the authorities, I'm as guilty as the person who committed the crime. Especially if I'm making songs about it and taking photographs in front of the victim. In this case, the 12s. So Jay-Z, Fabulous, Biggie Smalls, and all these others, of course, the big time, the big hitters, right? The George Bushes of the world and the Rockefellers of the world. Of course, they're all guilty, but these celebrities, they are as guilty as well, because these are the ones who mock us the most. They make us dance and sing along to their satanic ways. Yes, I did see that. I did see that in the Source magazine, because I think I want to make sure I say this right. Where is it? So this picture right here, right? So I think the number 9. Let me see. Number 9 is the number of a man. Number 9 is the number of a man. I want to make sure that I say this correctly. I know the number 9 does represent completion, but it is. It says here that 9, also known as the number 9 man. So the number 9 is the number of a man. So think about it. In this photograph, you have the 9, which is him, and then the 11. Yeah, good. So good point. Yeah, 9 months pregnancy. Yep. It represents completion. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna come back in like 30 minutes and speak about something else. The death of P&B Rock. People are asking me to decode that, so just wanted to show you guys these things that I failed to mention at the speech that I did at the World Trade Center. So, the video is almost done. I spoke to the photographer today. If you didn't see the beginning of the video, this is what he showed me over the phone. So it starts off like this. It's me walking to the World Trade Center, and then once we get there, Zachary is giving out his speech, and then the people know about gematria and the symbolism and how the World Trade Center were a big planned event by the Jesuit order. So right now I'm just walking across the street, and that's exactly where Zach is. He's at the corner with the rest of the truth seekers. So I like how it looks. It looks like a mini movie, documentary kind of. So the guy did a great job, I feel. So I can't wait for him to finish and send it to me. Then I'll upload it on my channel. Gematria. Right, so, and also the photographs of the event is on my blog. If you haven't seen them, visit my blog. These are the photographs of the truth seekers gathering at the World Trade Center at the Father Duffy Square on 45th and Broadway. These are all the truth seekers and the things we did. I don't think he took any photos of the World Trade Center though. So these are only at the Rockefeller Center. Not the Rockefeller Center. At Broadway, 45th and Broadway. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people. Can't wait for next year. Even more people join us. Yeah, great quality. Yeah, that's why it was so expensive. It was so. That's why like I said, all the people who donated and helped out with the bill, because I only paid like $46 out of my pocket because I was able to raise 440 around there, and the other $60 I paid it out of my pocket, which I don't mind because the video came out awesome. So, but if it wasn't for the people who donated, I wouldn't even be able to pay it. So, I want to thank all the people who donated, and your names are gonna be in the video. So, and when I upload the video, please download the video and save it in case my channel gets deleted. All right, so I'll be back probably between 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll do another live stream talk about the death of B.I.G, the Philadelphia rapper. Okay, so you want to know other YouTube channels that do the same work? Okay, let me zoom in here. So these are the people who I follow. I mean, you can follow anybody you like, but these are the people who I recommend. Coach Gematria Effect News, Zenith of the Alpha, I like his work. Shakozy Truth, Dan Barrett, Gematrinator _85, Numerical Lion. You can also follow people like Kayla D Talk. What is it? Kayla D Code Talker. Yeah. Kayla D Code Talker. And then when you go to their channels, you click on the channels and see who they're following. And she's following the same people that I do. And yeah. You know, Dan Barrett, you go to Dan Barrett's channel, I think he follows everybody. So, but, you know, the people who I follow are these people, because these people are the veterans, and I trust them a little bit more than any other person. But I'm not against anybody. I like who I like. So Zenith of the Alpha is this channel here. And what I like about Zenith of the Alpha's YouTube channel is if you go to right here where it says playlists, he has a lot of Zach's old videos right here. So if you're trying to learn this, he has a great playlist. He also has Dan Barrett's old videos up here. I guess he only has 2 of them, but this is the introduction to Gematria. This is a great video to watch if you're trying to learn this. If you're trying to understand how this stuff works, how to learn and get better using the Gematria to understand the world we live in. So I'm going to link this in the chat so you can watch this video. That's a great introduction video right there. All right, so I'll be back around 12:45. Yeah, and Rockefeller, Rockefeller does equal 110 because the buildings were 110 stories tall. So yeah, then there's a lot more things that I could talk about with this, but I just wanted to show you guys how these rappers are really being manipulated. They're not. A lot of people criticize rappers like, rappers. I don't like rappers because rappers talk about guns and killing. Rappers are signed to record companies who tell them what to do. And if you look up who wrote these songs, let me see. Let's go to the songs real quick. If you look up who wrote Juicy, it wasn't even the Notorious B.I.G. If you look up who wrote Warning, it wasn't even the Notorious B.I.G. It was a bunch of other people that you probably never even heard of. Yeah, they threw Biggie's name in there. He probably just, said a couple of words and got credit for writing, but the people behind the song is other people. Like Puff Daddy was one of them, and like 3 other people. And that's how this stuff works. You know, you don't. The rapper is just the performer. He's just the image. The things he's saying, the things he's doing, are all being. He's being directed to say all these things. And if you don't believe me, that is the case. There's a video. Actually, I'm gonna show you guys how to find that. So, Biggie warning music video interview. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, it came up. Look. So if you watch this interview here, you just type in warning music video interview Biggie Smalls. It should come right up. In this video, actually this one is better because this is the extended version, the 11-minute one. If you watch this video, you can see how everything that Biggie did in that video warning, they directed him to say everything he did. Everything from slamming the table to holding the phone. Everything they was schooling him. This dude, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to be mad. I want you to slam the table. I want you to look up. He's just the artist. Like, these people don't. None of the stuff you see on the screen is being done by the rapper or by the celebrity. They're being told to do everything that they do, and this is a great example of that. I can't play the video because this channel is already on thin ice, but it's right here. This right here. This is the video I want you guys to see. So you guys can see that these people are not even behind any of the things that they do or say. I think we've proven that. Go look up. Let me see. Warning lyrics. Who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46? Well, look at the credits. So look at this. It was written by Hal David, Burt Baccarat. I think that's how you say his name. Easy Mo B and the Notorious B.I.G. So 4 people wrote those lyrics. See? Yeah. But I'm gonna also link this in the chat so you guys can see this right here. Thanks a lot, Jared. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so like I said, I'll end it there. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back at 12:45 to speak about the death of P&B Rock. And I think I'm catching up on all the stuff that I missed because I've been suspended for a week. So I'll be right back. Yeah, they threw Biggie in the end he probably just said, yeah, baby, baby. If you say that, you technically got to get credit, right? So he probably just said that, and then he said, oh, yeah, let's put that in there. So, yeah, he gets credit for writing baby, baby. But the people behind that song are somebody else, other people. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll be right back.